Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Is it recording? All right, great deal. Good afternoon. I'm Sergeant Sanchez. As some of you may already know, some of you may not, which I really hope you do. Today, we're going to talk a little bit more about beer. And just like I told you previously, in no way, shape, or form am I promoting the use, the consumption, or the glamorization of alcohol. This is just for informative purposes only, all right? So, let's go back to beer. Who made it? Nobody really knows exactly who made it, but it was done a long time ago. All right? One thing we do know for a fact is that women were the ones that made beer for the majority of the time when it first came about. All right? Now, why did they do that? They did it to produce these strong ales that would keep the family healthy. Think of, who's going to make a healthy baby out of beer? Well, when you have decades of plague, famine, and polluted water, sometimes the only thing you really got is beer to drink. Now, of course, man, we took it over as soon as we found out that it was profitable, that it was popular. We're like, yeah, we can make some money off this, let's do this. As soon as we figured out it was popular and profitable, the king's like, you know what? You use barley to do this, so what am I gonna do? I'm gonna tax all the barley, so now all the money you make, give to me. So, right, so now, that's how we get that going. Now, originally came over to the United States from Dutch, Czech, and German immigrants. And this is where we see some of our first beers in the United States, lagers. Now, it's not the oldest beer in any way, shape, or form, no. Usually your ales, your porters, things along those lines are your older beers. But beer took a little bit of a dip when people got into that age of enlightenment and they started to get away from those sinful and criminal behaviors. And then, just like that, came right back up with things that triggered it, stuff like the Great Depression, World War I, World War II. These foreign tours that soldiers had, Navy, Airmen, Marines, to different areas of the world. Because why? They have different beer there. And what do soldiers like to do? Like to drink beer. And so what did they do? You know what? I really like that dark beer that I had in Vietnam. Can't find it here. Let's make it. All right, let's make it. So what do we got? We've got a whole bunch of varieties now in the United States. Now, beer, really what it is, all it is really malted cereal grains, hops, water fermented by adding yeast and sugars. And what that does is, once the yeast feeds on the sugars, it divides, produces carbon dioxide and ethanol. All right. Basically all it is. Now, so Walker, I understand you have a much, much more technical way of doing it. I'm breaking it down simple, like stupid simple, all right? We can talk about that later. Now, when you think about it, really, there's only two types of beer, ales and lagers. Now, you can break those down into much more defined subcategories. Sorry, I forgot to speak for a minute. But really, there's only two types. And what is the real big difference between all those is the yeast. So one is the top fermenting, one is the bottom fermenting. Now, your top fermenting, they leave you with a fuller, robust body beer. It's very complex. That's where you will see your ales, your stouts, stuff like Guinness, your Hefeweizens. That's where you get those from. Now your lagers, on the other hand, those ones are your bottom fermenting. Now these ones take a lot longer to produce because they have to be done, they have to be stored at near freezing temperatures for longer periods of time. And these ones tend to stay better longer because of how they were produced. Now, these lagers also include stuff like Coors, Budweiser, Miller. And, little fact, lagers account for 56% of beer sold in Canada. There we go. Now, of course, we got different forms of beers. We have porters, we have stouts. And your porter's going to be your dark, fruity types. Your stouts are going to be, again, another top fermenting. Not going to be as rich, but they are going to be, or excuse me, sweet, but they are going to be rich and creamy. And we got a handful of other beer styles to go along with that, such as amber blondes, browns, creams, darks, fruits, goldens, honeys, India pale ales, which are very strong and have a very high alcohol content. Your limes, your lights, your pales, your pilsners, your reds, your strongs, and your wheats. Now, in the event that you ever come across a beer that you've never heard of, but you see the word imperial in it, usually means it's stronger, because that's what they used to give the kings. Now, of course, kings, being kings, they like top grade everything. Of course, they're going to have stronger beer. Now, I did have a slideshow to present to you, but unfortunately due to technical difficulties, we don't really get to see them. But this would show you the different types of glasses that you can use when you do pour your beer. And if you remember the last class or the last speech that I gave, it was about how to properly pour your beer. Well, the type of glassware you use also adds to that flavor. It brings out the deeper aromas, the richer flavors that are locked within all of those beers. And like I said, I do apologize, but technical difficulties did not allow me to do that for you. So now we've gone over a little bit about beer. Here's just one word of warning. Although beer is a great thing to taste, it pairs out very well with different types of food. Use some common sense, drink responsibly. Do not end up like George L. Potter, which, if any of you know, George L. Potter was a World War II paratrooper, part of the Band of Brothers. Well, this guy developed PTSD, became an alcoholic. And during a camping trip to the north of San Diego, got really drunk. It's like, oh my God, the Nazis are here. They're here to invade our fort. And his children are like, Dad, what's going on with you? You're crazy. Oh, we gotta fortify the house. Ah, went crazy. So he took all of his furniture, put it up against the walls, against the windows, against the doors, everything, because he was too drunk. So again, be smart, use common sense, know your limits, and don't go beyond them. Hope you enjoyed my speech today. Thank you very much.